Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Had the God of Speed Bloodline. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Anime Prince, Anime Symbol, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. All links will be down in the description, so go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Don't forget to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you, so yeah. Without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we begin this brand new episode? Starts the intro. So, to do a bit of a recap, Naruto was running away from several villagers who were chasing him. A kunai was thrown at him, and something happened. He seemed to get this surge of energy that he was unaware of, but he felt something well up in his chest. The next moment, he shot off at speeds that shocked everyone around. They weren't able to comprehend how fast he was going, especially since they were nothing but civilians, and he was long gone. He arrived at the gate, where he proceeded to collapse in front of Izumo and Katetsu. He was taken to Hirashin, who was surprised, as he never expected Naruto to awaken this bloodline already. It turns out that it was a family thing. So with that, when Naruto came to, Hirashin sat down and spoke with him, as the bloodline was from his father's side, a special bloodline that came from them. It turns out that Minato Hirashin was a big part of this. Naruto was shocked at all the information. As Hirashin apologized, he just wanted to keep him safe. 7 years passed by rather quickly. A lot has happened in the past 7 years, as Naruto was returning back to the village, pretending like he was that noisy idiot, but in reality he was a Jonin, known as Kitsune, a name that he got within the Fire Nation. He's not gone beyond it yet. Hirashin was the one that did this, believing that he was only fitting as Naruto had grown exponentially in the past 7 years, to the point where they promote him to be a Jonin. Yes, a rather shocking feat, but if you could see what he could do, you wouldn't be surprised. Haruka was in on this as well, as Naruto was watching a traitor within the academy. When the day finally came, as Naruto quickly graduated, however, he decided to follow Mizuki, knowing what he was up to. However, they did not know the full details of what he wanted, but Mizuki had been suspected for some time now. When he came across Naruto within the forest, he was happy, as he was going to kill the demon brat. So with that, Mizuki attacked him. However, Naruto's speed far eclipsed anything that he could understand. When Naruto rushed past someone, he grazed his fingers over them, causing an electric burn. As Naruto brought Mizuki down to his knees, he passed out because of the pain, as he brought him back. It was finally time for him to stop pretending to be a child, a naive one that is. When the news finally broke, everyone in the academy could not believe what they were hearing. They were beyond shock, not believing this. However, it was reality. Yes, it was. As Team 7 was made with a boy known as Sai, Sakura and Sasuke Kakashi being their Jonin sensei. Sai was a bit weird. He seemed to possess no control over what an emotion is. So with that, Naruto was called by Hirashin to help out Team 7 because they got themselves into some problems. So with that, Naruto made his way, arriving in a few minutes tops. And it had taken Team 7 3 days. And Naruto had got the message late, just to show how fast he was, as he faced off against Zabuza Momokai. Zabuza was strong and fast, and yet he stood absolutely no chance. In the end though, he was able to survive because of the Hunter Ninja. So with that, they made their way back towards the house, as Kakashi told the Genins that their training will begin tomorrow. So yeah guys, so basically as we left off, just can switch across the play district of yourself so to begin this new episode guys. Kakashi just gathered the attention of his 3 Genins. Okay guys, he said, there is something important you must know. What is it, Sensei? Sakura asked. Zabuza is alive. They were all surprised except for Naruto. Sakura was the first to recover as she had to ask. Are you sure, Sensei? She said. Kakashi nodded his head, but Naruto was the one that answered the question. The hunter used Senbon needles. They are really accurate, and the hunter shoot for the neck. Around the neck there are certain pressure points that would put somebody in a death-like state if hit correctly. Not to mention a hunter is supposed to destroy the body and bring the head with him. However, he took the entire body with him. So yes, we're dealing with a fake hunter that is helping Zabuza. Sasuke scoffed at that. And you call yourself a Jonin? You could not catch even a fake in the act. Naruto glanced over towards him. And what exactly were you doing, Uchiha? He asked. And besides, if I had attacked that hunter, and it was a real one, what do you think the repercussions would have been for our village? Kakashi and I had to take that chance or risk a war between the leaf and the hidden mist. So why don't you keep your damn mouth shut, since you have no idea what you're supposed to do in that situation? Sasuke was about to say something, but Sakura, years of instincts kicked in, because in her mind, at that moment, it was just like the academy when Naruto was making himself look big and trying to one-up Sasuke. She shouted, "Don't talk to Sasuke-kun like that," as she raised her hand in an attempt to hit Naruto. The next moment, she vanished from her spot as Naruto slammed her against the wall, holding her by her throat. The look in his eyes, it was completely different. This was not the same Naruto who was goofing around and acting like a fool within the academy. Sakura was frozen in shock and horror as Naruto looked into her eyes. "I'm only gonna say this once, Haruno," he said. "Your little Uchiha over there is not a top dog. He's not special. He's just a normal genin with the last name Uchiha who has not even activated his Sharingan yet. And if you ever try to hit one of your superiors, which I am, do you hear me, genin?" said Naruto. "You're going to regret it. Do we have an understanding?" Sakura nodded as much as she could as Naruto released her, as he turned his gaze towards Uchiha. "The same go for you as well, Uchiha," he said. "We aren't in the damn academy anymore. Get your act together or get the hell out of the program. We don't need upstarts like you trying to prove that you're better than everyone else." He then turned his gaze towards Tazuna. "I'll be waiting outside to escort you to the bridge." The old man nodded as Naruto proceeded to make his way outside. A small child coming downstairs, rubbing his eyes, seeing the expression on the people's faces. "What's going on?" he said. Kakashi shook his head as he turned towards his team. "Nothing much," he said. Before he addressed his team, Sai, Sasuke, Sakura, "Finish up your breakfast and meet me outside," he said. "We have a lot to do before Zabuza recovers." Sakura was confused by his order. "But, Sensei, how could we possibly be ready in a week to fight someone like Zabuza? We couldn't do anything last time." Kakashi gave her an eye smile. "Well, things will be different next time," he said. Around 15 minutes later, as Naruto had created a few clones, they were scanning the perimeter to make sure that no one tried to harm the bridge. "All quiet, sir. Nothing to report." As Naruto nodded, He glanced over towards Tazuna and asked him if he needed an extra hand. Meanwhile that was going on, Kakashi started his group on tree climbing. When they first heard that, they were confused until he proceeded to demonstrate. He threw 3 kunais in front of them, as he told them to use it to mark their progress. So with that, they began. Sasuke ran up before the bark suddenly splintered, and he was blown off the tree trunk as he landed. So, it's an exercise of balance. Too much and you blow off. Too little and you don't stick. This is easy. He heard a voice as he glanced up to see Sakura sitting on one of the branches. Hey, Dickless, what are you doing on the ground? Sasuke's eyes widened in shock when he saw Sai 10 feet above Sakura on one of the branches. Sakura File said she had perfect chakra control, and I imagine that Danzo would make sure that Sai is capable as possible. Kakashi was there standing watching them. Hey, don't insult Sasuke-kun, Sakura yelled at Sai. Well, so much for the ear of the most powerful clan of the Hidden Leaf Village. It seems like Sakura and Sai are far better than you in this, Sasuke, Kakashi said, trying to motivate him. Sasuke gritted his teeth as he rushed forward. Around 30 minutes later on the bridge, each worker had a clone to help them, as the workers were teaching the clones what to do with the help that they bring. The bridge could be done far sooner. Later that night, the team was gathered from a very exhausting day. Sakura seemed really tired. Sai didn't look roughed up in the slightest. He looked like he just had a light jog. Sasuke had scuff marks over him, as he looked like he was about to collapse any moment now. So, you guys had fun, Naruto asked. Sai did not respond as he just sat down. Sakura groaned as she plopped down in her chair. Sasuke grit his teeth. It's something funny, he said, looking at Naruto, as Naruto proceeded to laugh. I asked you a question, dope. It's something funny. As Naruto turned his gaze towards Uchiha, you know, it's rather amusing. Just like the loudmouth Inuzaka. You believe that my persona within the academy was what I'm capable of, even after I've shown you that I'm better than you. In that little head of yours, you still believe that you're the greatest thing to walk the earth. You want to know something? You're not even the greatest Uchiha. Far from it, said Naruto. You don't even have your Sharingan. Sasuke launched himself towards Naruto, however. Kakashi caught him. Calm down, Sasuke, he said. And Naruto, I would have expected better from you. What exactly do you want me to say? I'm just stating the truth, Naruto said to him. After all, it wasn't a lie. Because even now, he thinks that he's somehow the greatest thing to ever walk this planet. And he needs to learn that he's not, otherwise he's gonna get himself killed really early, said Naruto. Shut up. You know nothing about the Uchiha. I don't, said Naruto. Well, I do know that they were just a bunch of thieves, stealing the hard work of people that actually put in the work. The only one that wasn't like that was Itachi. No wonder why he decided to get rid of the rest of the clan. He was sick of their arrogance as well. You take that back, Sasuke yelled, fury in his eyes. As Naruto simply walked away. Why would I take back the truth? An hour later, Kakashi found Naruto outside. I really wish you wouldn't antagonize my students. Sorry, Kakashi, said Naruto. However, I'm really pissed off, considering what I've been through for the past couple of years while undercover. I find it really hard to not put that little bastard in his place. He's always walking and believing that he's the number one. I'm telling you this right now, that arrogance is going to go to his head the more he goes on. And it's not going to be bad for him, but everyone around him. And I really can't be nice to him. Especially what his clan has done to me in the past. And every time I see him, I get a little bit angry, said Naruto. Kakashi sighed. I know where you're coming from, Naruto, but they're my responsibility. Just try not to start any fights. I'll try, he said. Kakashi nodded. Good. Now good night, he said. Don't stay up too late. Yes, Mom, said Naruto, making the copy ninja chuckle. Meanwhile, with Zabuza, he hissed in pain, as he was pretty pissed off. Haku applied the cream to his back. Thanks to Gato, Haku was able to get some medicine for the burn marks that Zabuza had. They were pretty bad. However, the medicine, it would be gone by the end of the week, which was a long time ninja-wise because of constant fighting. Haku, Zabuza said. Yes, Zabuza-sama. I want you to find out everything that you can about that little blonde brat. And when the time comes, I want you to fight him. You're probably the only one that can actually keep up with his speed, Zabuza said. As you wish, Zabuza-sama. The next morning, Naruto exited the house with Tazuna. Kakashi had Sai tag along since he had completed the exercise. As Naruto questioned him why, he wasn't just teaching him water walking. Kakashi had eye smiled towards him. I'll leave that to you, he said. As Naruto sent him a glare before he headed off, motioning for Sai to follow. As he created a clone to help Sai how to walk on water. Once that was done and everything was set, Naruto vanished, surprising them. Using his slipstream, Naruto made his way off to explore the island a bit. A few hours later, Kakashi felt the enormous amount of chakra. Hello, Naruto, he said, as Naruto was standing there. He was looking around, as he wanted to see how they were coming along. Before that, said Kakashi, as he knew that Naruto was scouting the area. If you find Gato base, don't do anything drastic without telling me. As Naruto simply nodded. As for the other two, Sasuke made it halfway up. Sakura was higher up resting on one of the branches. Despite her control, she had a really small amount of chakra. With that, Naruto blurred away once again. As he came across Gato's base, after scouring the entire island, very quickly, Naruto was in a tree, looking over the walls. This seemed to be some place that was already here, that Gato had taken over while coming here. That is when Naruto saw someone around his age, exiting and making his way towards the woods. He had a theory who the individual was, as Naruto completely erased his chakra, using his Jonin level stealth to follow behind the individual. As Naruto followed the boy as he came to the woods, he had a basket as he was picking some herbs. He could either fight him now and end this or fight him a later date with Zabuza. He decided to just learn as much as he can. It was strange. The intentions that was coming from him was so, well, not what you would think for someone that was with Zabuza. Naruto used speed as he took off. Normal level speed to go around the clearing. Once he was far enough away, he used his bloodline. It took him a minute to regroup around as he walked out into the clearing, acting completely nonchalant. Naruto's eyes were incredibly fast as he noticed every muscle in the boy's body stiffen the moment his eyes landed on Naruto, confirming his suspicions 100%. There was no doubt about it. Naruto placed on a rather calm smile. I must admit, I wasn't expecting to find anyone out here. The boy also put on a smile, but the smile did not fully reach his eyes, which Naruto noticed. This is the best place to find the herbs that I desire. True, said Naruto. Some of these herbs are really good. Especially this one, he said. It helps with treating pains that come from first and second degree burn. Mixing with a couple others, turn into a good paste, said Naruto as he picked said herb. The boy cocked his head towards him. You sure have a lot of knowledge in this field, he said. Tuh, I had to be, said Naruto with a chuckle. I can't tell you how much time I accidentally burned myself. Really? You don't look like you've been burned that often, the boy said. Well, you don't look like you're an actual boy with that pink kimono, said Naruto. But we all like to hide certain things about ourselves, now do we? He stiffened a bit. Yes, I suppose that is true. Pardon my manners. I'm Naruto. As he extended his hand, the boy extended his hand as well. Name is Haku. A pleasure to meet you. Nice to meet you as well, said Naruto. So, collecting these for someone that need them, or do you like to have them in handy just like me in case of emergencies? Oh, this is for a precious person of mine. Tell me, Naruto, do you have anyone that is precious to you? Haku asks. Well, yeah, I got a few, said Naruto. This time Haku smiled and he reached his eyes. You must be truly strong then, because I believe only when you have someone precious to protect, that is when you become strong. As Naruto glanced up towards the heavens. I suppose you're right, he said. Well, I better get going. As Naruto waved his hand behind him as he started to walk away. With a two-finger salute, he proceeded to vanish. As Haku stood there surprised, he was having severe doubt that he could match that speed when the time comes. Meanwhile, as Naruto made his way off, he was correct about that individual. It was a good thing that he did not go in hot and heavy as he thought. Maybe there's a way to fix this, he thought to himself. Time skip. Naruto and Sai settled next to Tsunami and Tazuna. As they ate their dinner, they were waiting for the others to come inside. As they were still doing their whole training, Iniri was sitting there as well, as he was sending a glare towards both of them, who did not seem to be looking his path. That is when the group came inside. As they sat down, Kakashi asked, so how did Sai do? Well, as to be expected, he got the concept down. But we all know that it isn't that easy just to perform it that quickly, said Naruto. He was able to stand about half an hour after we began, but it took him a bit longer to walk around without sinking. Sai was looking at Naruto strangely. The moment the door had opened, he had felt a strange pulse. It was so small, a pulse of chakra, and he didn't know what it was for. He still can't do it while he's fighting, so we'll have to work on that tomorrow. Kakashi nodded as he turned towards the other two, seeing Naruto looking at the both of them. And how are they doing, he asked. Sasuke sent Naruto a glare. As Sakura spoke, this time as calm as possible. I pretty much have it mastered, she said. Right now, Sensei has me running up and down as many times as possible in order to increase my chakra reserves, she said to him. And Sasuke-kun is a little over 3/4 to the way up to the top. Sasuke snapped his glare over towards Sakura for telling Naruto that he didn't want him to know anything. Why do you guys even bother? They turned their head. Come again, said Naruto, looking towards Inari. I said why? Do you guys even bother? It's not like it's gonna help when Gato comes to kill you all. You're just all wasting your time. Gato is invincible, and nothing you can do will ever stop him. You don't even know anything about us, and yet you come prancing all in, acting so carefree. You made me sick, Inari said. Inari, Tsunami said with a stern voice. Naruto raised a hand to her. It's alright, he said, as he turned his gaze back towards the boy. You say we don't know anything. I presume you're talking about the pain that you and the people here went through. But you mostly. As Naruto gazed glance around the room, it went back towards Inari. But, truthfully, you do not even understand the word pain, said Naruto. Inari opened his mouth. As Naruto continued, let me guess. You lost someone to Gato. Someone that brings hope and happiness in your life. And ever since then you believe that there is no point. There is nothing to go on, nothing to keep on moving because of what he did, correct? Well, let me tell you something. Uncle Kakashi over there lost his father and his entire team. People that he loved, that he grew up with. The Uchiha over there lost his entire clan, including his mother and father one night. And I've seen the dark side of humanity. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. I was an orphan from birth. In the beginning, I had no one. You have your mother, your grandfather over here, that will do anything. Your grandfather is even risking his life on a daily basis to try and get Gato out of this country by building that bridge, even though he knows that put a huge target on his back. He's doing that because he loves the both of you and want to keep you guys safe. From day one, I was on my own. No one to care for me. And also, everyone within my village hated me for reasons. As Naruto released a breath, I was thrown out of the orphanage when I was 3 years old. And I had to fend for myself, not knowing where the next meal would come from. Not knowing if I would go to bed hungry that night. Which I did on multiple occasions. To the point I think I was going insane from hunger, said Naruto. Over and over again I was attacked, ridiculed, made fun of, laughed at. People acting like I did not even exist. And that hurt the most. To know that no one saw you. To have them looking at you like you weren't even there. Like you're some kind of entity. A being that does not belong. Yes, it is a very horrible, horrible feeling. So trust me when I say, you have absolutely no idea how good you have it. At least you still have your mother and grandfather. So don't say that people don't know what pain is without knowing them. Because right now you're just a little kid that don't understand what the real world is. People die. That is something that cannot be changed, yes. Gato is a very awful man that took someone away from you. But you are not the only one that is suffering. In the street in this village, I saw a lot of other kids. Their clothing is falling off them because they can't afford to have anything to eat. They have no one. But you have people caring about you, making sure that you have a roof over your head. So, I think you should be really grateful for that. Because others out there, they have no idea how they're going to make it through tonight. They have no idea what they're going to eat tonight. But you know that your mother will always cook for you and be there for you. So next time before you say something, think. Think about it before you speak, said Naruto. Because the world is not a pretty place. As much as one might hide it, there is always something deep within that person keeps hidden for certain reasons. As Naruto got up to his feet. And another thing. Gato might be all-powerful. But the only reason why he's all-powerful is because he's slowly sucking away the hope. Yes. Because trust me, that is all you need. The hope to rise up and stand up and says enough. That you have enough of him. And if you can't do it alone, someone like me or many others might help you along your way. So when the time comes, try not to give up. Try to have hope and faith that you can win. Otherwise, there's no point of going on, said Naruto. As he proceeded to make his way upstairs. The place was quiet. Kakashi was looking down. Tsunami couldn't believe what she heard. As she didn't understand, she looked towards Kakashi. She had to ask, was he telling the truth? She just couldn't understand why would a village treat a child like that. It was a lot worse. But he tried not to speak about it. Kakashi said, further shocking all of them. As both Sakura and Sasuke were silent, in shock. Meanwhile, Sai was thinking, as his mind was filled with a lot of thoughts, but he was not thinking anywhere close to what the other two had their mind on. The next morning, Naruto was nowhere to be seen. He had left last night. He had went upstairs and went for something and left. Sakura was now starting to get concerned. Sensei, shouldn't one of us go and look for him? Now, Sakura. I know that you're worried that Naruto did not come back last night. But I can tell you from experience, he will be just fine, said Kakashi. The door then opened up at that moment as they saw him. His clothing was pretty roughed up, and he had some scuff marks over him. And he looked tired as well, exhausted. Naruto sat down as Kakashi pushed a plate towards him. He expected him. So how many did you get up to last night? 5, said Naruto. And we went all night. It wouldn't have been so bad if I didn't have about 100 clones working on moving at night at mid Jonin level speed. Those bastards decided to pop really quickly after the other. The moment the sun rose up, it's like they're trying to piss me off, said Naruto, as he massaged his temple. Well, that's pretty great, all things considered. Usually you can go only half in the night when you have more than 3. Sakura was confused what they were talking about, as Sai and Sasuke gave Naruto a calculated look, trying to understand. Sakura had to ask, I don't understand, Sensei. Why would he have to move at Jonin speeds at night if he's already so fast? What kind of training is he talking about? As Naruto was slowly eating, he paused what he was doing, his mouth still full. I'm right here, you know, he said, as he swallowed his food. Thanks to my bloodline, I can move faster than anyone on this planet. However, it gave me tunnel vision when I move. To counteract that problem, I use my chakra as a sonar to give me echolocation so that I can be aware of my surroundings. However, the constant release of chakra, despite me having a large, massive reserves, it can also be detrimental to comrades, especially anyone with a Ido Jutsu, like a Hyuga or a Uchiha, said Naruto. They would be temporarily blinded if I move at the speeds I do while I'm fighting around them, if they look at me. As for the training, I was fighting against 5 of my clones. We move as fast with the slipstream, said Naruto. Does that answer your questions? She nodded. Wait, what slipstream? She asked, confused. Sasuke understood. So it was a slipstream that made him that fast, huh? It's the name of the bloodline I possess. That is what. My father named it because there was no official name. He might have been the first one to ever activate it. It makes we move incredibly fast, entering a different stream completely than a normal sensation of running. That is why I said entering the slipstream, said Naruto. Once he was done eating, he got up, as he seemed completely fine. Just give me a few minutes, he said as he made his way off. They were confused. Sensei, how can he possibly move like that from what he said he did all night last night? Sakura said, truly confused. How could he recover that quickly? It made no sense. Well, that's Naruto for you. I've seen him train for 2 days straight and a few hours, and then collapse for about 3 hours and back on his feet once again. His chakra capacity is so large, it outlasts a lot of Kages. Not to mention he has an ungodly stamina. Any woman that he end up marrying will be very happy in bed, Kakashi said as he giggled in a perverted way. The books seemed to be getting to his head as his team looked at him. He waved them off. It was nothing. That is when they heard Naruto from upstairs. Hey, Uncle Kakashi, you aren't reading that crap that you call literature in front of Inieri, are you? He's only 10 years old, you know that, right? Kakashi's sweat dropped. Of course not. Why would you think I would do something like that? Because I know you, said Naruto as he came back downstairs. Kakashi hung his head low, with a storm cloud over his head. You know, he used to admire me. Where did that kid that loved to do everything that I did go? Kakashi said as tears started to fall on the ground. He ran away when you showed him that perverted books of yours. I was only trying to show him the greatness that his grandfather's work was able to produce. That is not greatness. That is just a crazy, horny, obsessive man who can't handle the facts of reality, so he make up his own and write books about it, said Naruto. Sacrilege, Kakashi said as he got up. You take that back. As Naruto punched him in the face, causing him to collapse on the ground, Naruto stooped down in front of the man, who was pounding his face into the ground. Face it, the only good book that he wrote was the first one. You know, the one that I named after in the book, the main character. And the only one that doesn't have smut in every page. I reject your reality, said Kakashi. A world where that book is the only best one that he ever wrote is not what I want to live into. Whatever you say, said Naruto, as he took the last bite of what he was eating, bringing the plate towards the sink. I'll have a clone waiting for you outside, Tazuna, Naruto said as he made his way, as he erased himself, just moving off. That is how they saw it when he moved. Huh, that kid is surely something, huh, said Tazuna. Time skip. When Naruto arrived, he saw majority of the workers behind Naruto clones that he had left last night, with a group of thugs. The one at the front, red face, was looking at the clone that was looking at his nails. As the thug spoke up, "Now you listen here, you little brat. I don't care what your original is. Now step aside and let us through. Now," he yelled. You know, the man was shocked when someone appeared beside him. That's rather stupid. Why would he do that when his job is to keep people like you off of it? They quickly got over their shock as Naruto stood beside him. "Are you the original?" he said, reaching for his weapon. "No, I'm a water clone. Send to shift the shadow clones, guard, you moron." As the bridge workers laughed, because Naruto had explained the different type of clone to them, the thug face got so red as he took a step forward. "You will let us pass right now if you know what is good for you, or else we will..." Naruto slammed his fist into the thug's guts, causing him to keel over before he jumped over him and planted his feet into his back. His head smashed down hard. Naruto turned his gaze towards the others. "Get him out of here now before the same happened to each and every one of you." All of the thugs moved, as two of them grabbed their leader and stepped back in a haste, fleeing for their life. As Naruto was releasing a concentrated amount of bloodlust that scared the living hell out of all of them. As Naruto dispelled the clones before, he created a fresh batch as he noticed Tazuna and Sai coming as well. As Tazuna walked up looking around, "Did something happen?" he said, as all of them looked at him. The rest of the week passed by rather quietly. Sai was able to do full combat on the water by now, as he even sparred with Naruto a few times. 2 days later, Sakura joined them. She took to water walking fast, however. She had to walk around a lot to increase her reserves, because this took a lot more chakra as she had to concentrate a lot more to her feet while walking on the water because of the constant changing of the stream. Sasuke had joined them as well, as he joined a day before Sakura because once he completed the tree walking, he had a larger chakra capacity than her, but it took him the rest of the week to learn how to fight on water. Kakashi believed that Zabuza would be showing his face tomorrow. Tazuna went to the workers and told them not to show up, as the Genins were getting a bit nervous, mainly Sakura, about the upcoming battle. Sai looked as cool as he always did. However, Naruto put that towards the root training that he was given. Of course, he knew who the boy was. A lot has changed over the week as well, with Inari. At the moment, Naruto and him were sitting on the docks, just gazing towards the water, when Naruto handed him something. It was a kunai. "Here, use this if things get rough tomorrow. I'll leave some clones behind to watch over, but it's always good to have a backup plan just in case. Always be prepared. It's better to be caught over-prepared than to be caught without a backup plan." Inari nodded as he took the blade. As he had really changed the words, it had sunk into his head. And he did not want to run away from his problems. He wanted to face them. "Thank you," he said, "for everything," he told Naruto. Naruto placed a hand on his head with a brilliant eye smile. "Don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine. I promise," said Naruto to him. Time skip. The next day, when they arrived, as Naruto stepped up on the bridge, Kakashi turned towards his students. "Don't leave Tazuna's side," he said, getting a nod from them as they grouped around him. "Oi, Zabuza! Where are you? I know that you're out there. Might as well come out," said Naruto. Zabuza appeared on the bridge, with another individual by his side. as Naruto stood there, along with Kakashi watching the both of them. Huh, it seems like you told the workers not to come today. I was looking forward to having some fun, you know that. Sorry, but I'm not gonna stroke your ego by giving you some people to kill while waiting for us to show up. Well, guess I'll just have to kill you instead, Zabuza said with a smirk under his bandages. Hey, Kakashi, if I take his partner out of the equation, you think you can hold Zabuza off long enough and buy me some time without killing him? Kakashi was confused. Yes, but why? I think they need to learn that they're working for the wrong guy. And how do you plan on doing that, Kakashi asks. We both have dealt with crime lords before, and I don't think that Gato is going to pay them what he promised. I just have to show them and confirm that fact. Kakashi thought about it. On one hand, it could make Zabuza drop the mission. On the other hand, he could ignore what was going on and just decided to attack anyways. Either way, without his partner, Kakashi was sure that Zabuza would die at his hands. So he nodded his head. Haku, get ready. Yes, Zabuza-sama. However, the problem was, the moment Zabuza and Haku took a step forward, a violent explosion of chakra erupted from Naruto's core. Everyone was stunned by the amount of chakra that was released from him. It was whipping around him as it blew all of the mist away, clearing the complete bridge. His hair was spiking up. His body was starting to release electricity. That is when Naruto shot a massive pulse straight out, going past Zabuza, locating a large group of ninjas making their way. I found him, said Naruto. You got 15 minutes like Kakashi. If you're not back by then, I'm gonna take him out. Naruto nodded. Naruto was running towards Haku now, until halfway there he vanished. The next moment, Haku vanished as well. What the? Zabuza said confused, given that Haku did not use his technique. Don't worry, Naruto is simply taking him somewhere, so that we can have a rematch without any interference this time. It doesn't matter, said Zabuza as he drew his blade. I was planning on having Haku fighting him anyway. Well then, I guess we should get started, as Kakashi raised his headband, his Sharingan spinning in his eye socket. Meanwhile, at the house, the two swordsmen step into the kitchen, shocking Iniri and Tsunami. Those are the men that killed Dad. Iniri thought, the same thought going through Tsunami's head. Look, aren't you a cute one? One of the swordsmen said. He was bald. I didn't know the old man had a grandson. Well, just one more thing I can cut up. Iniri pulled out the kunai as he jumped in front of his mother. I'm not gonna let any of you hurt my mother. You took my dad away. You won't touch her, he said. Aw, what do we have here? A kid with a blade. The bald one drew out his sword. This is a real blade, kid. However, Iniri and Tsunami were just fine. The clones wanted to show Iniri that he had what it takes to defend his mother even if his life was on the line. The next moment, something whooshed past and they were gone. Iniri and Tsunami were confused until Iniri smiled. It's Naruto, he said, as Naruto came back inside with the two clones unconscious. After what they did, I figured that killing them would be too simple. Let the villagers and you guys give them a trial and sentence them, said Naruto as he tossed them down to the ground. He walked over. You did wonderful, Iniri, even though you might have been scared. You stood up, like the hero that you were. A bright smile was on Iniri's face as Naruto patted him on the head. Meanwhile, 30 seconds after, Naruto had sent out the pulse and move. Haku collapsed down to his knees confused. One moment he was on the bridge and now he was on the dock. What the hell just happened? As several boats were there. If he wasn't used to going fast, he would have puked. And even though he was used to going fast, he still felt like he might throw up because that speed was different. As he tried to understand what was going on, he was a bit disoriented. He looked around the dock. What am I doing here? He thought to himself. That is when he turned to see many people walking down the path with Gato at the head of them. Gato looked towards him. "What are you doing here, brat? I would have thought that you would have been with Zabuza." "Oh well, this just makes things easier. Might as well start with him, boys." The crowd started to advance upon Haku. He frowned behind his mask. "What are you doing?" he said. "Isn't it obvious? I never plan on paying your baby of a master. It's much easier to hire these thugs, and a lot cheaper as well, to kill you guys once you did the job. So as long as you're here, we might as well get started. So consider this payback for breaking my arm, you little shit." I wanted you to see what they had truly desired. Well, what he wanted. Haku looked as Naruto was standing there. "Give me a second," said Naruto. He vanished. Right in front of Haku, the next moment, every single thug collapsed down to the ground, like their puppet string had been cut. Gato's eyes widened in fear as he saw all of his thugs bleeding from the head. There was a hole in each of their head. They were dead. Haku was fearful behind his mask. He was nowhere close to this person's speed in the slightest. He would have died instantly. He did not even see it. All he felt was a breeze rushing past him. As Naruto reappeared in front of Gato. Boo! Gato fell over on his butt. One of his arms was still in the cast. He tried to crawl away as much as he could. Now, where do you think you're going?" Naruto kicked him right into a tree as he slammed into it. "You know, you've been a really horrible person, driving people to the brink of extinction to satisfy your own greed. I figure that it's time for you to be judged for your actions that you've committed." No, please. I'll give you whatever you want. Money, woman, land, whatever you want. Please, don't kill me," Gato begged, as he was trembling the entire time. Naruto started to take small steps towards him as Haku stood watching the scene. "Whatever I want, huh? Fine. I'll let you live. If you give me one thing." Yes, just name it. I'll give it to you," said Gato. "I want you to bring back to life the people that you've killed, including Inari's father," said Naruto. Gato was trembling. I can't slice." Naruto was back in his same spot. However, now he had a kunai in his hand, as Gato's head rolled off his shoulder. Naruto then turned his gaze towards Haku. "He got it easy in my opinion, wouldn't you say, Haku?" "Huh? How do you know?" Haku said, confused, reaching up to remove said mask. "Since I spotted you leaving Gato's base. Come on, let's get back towards the bridge." Haku simply nodded, knowing that there was no way he could fight this guy. With that, Naruto took off, disappearing with Haku as well. Meanwhile, on the bridge, Zabuza was currently pinned down by Kakashi dogs. The Genins were confused because Kakashi was not moving, he was just looking at him. "Why aren't you finishing the job, Kakashi?" "What? I never thought you'd be the one to hesitate to kill," Zabuza said, trying to understand why he was just standing there. "I'm just waiting for my partner to return, so that we can sort this mess out." "What?" "I'm right here." As Naruto returned with Haku in tow, Zabuza was confused. As Naruto gave Kakashi a nod as he dispelled the dogs, Haku made his way over towards Zabuza and told him everything, not to mention what Naruto brought back, as he was holding the severed head of Gato. Zabuza's eyes went wide as he clenched his fist. "So it's done, your contract is over. Good thing too, because he never planned on paying you," said Naruto. Haku took off his mask. "It's true. He was planned to betray us once the deed was done." "I see. I guess we're no longer enemies, Kakashi," he said, looking over towards the copy ninja, who simply signed relief that it was all over. Time skip. The village was in celebration after so long under Gato's tyranny. They were finally free. As Naruto had made his way towards Gato's base, so they did not come out of it empty-handed. So what now? Kakashi asks as he leans against a wall. Not sure. I'll just have to see where the road takes me, Zabuza said. You know, said Naruto as he sat on the roof, with Haku as well. You could always come back with us. I can put in a good word for the Hokage for you, considering that you're no longer with your village. Tch, he wouldn't allow it. Not if he doesn't want any trouble from the miss for keeping and taking in one of their missing names. It would seem like an act of aggression, and in these times, that will be the wrong thing to do. The only thing I can do now is keep on moving. But I might hang around here for a while, he said. However, there is something you can do for me. What's that? Kakashi said. Take Haku back to the leaf. He's not a missing nin, so your Hokage will have no problems. What? Haku was shocked. Zabuza-sama. Despite what Zabuza had said in the past about him being a tool, he saw him as a son, and they've been through so much, and he knew that his actions was gonna get Haku killed because of his loyalty. Listen to me, Haku. I don't want life on the road to be the defining thing in your life. To be constantly running every single second from hunter nins. But, Zabuza raised his hand. But nothing, kid. You served me well. But now it's time that you find your own dream. Haku began to tear up as Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder. I'll make sure that he's taken care of. Thanks, brat, said Zabuza. Time skip. A few days later, without the fear of Gato, with the villagers lending a helping hand as well, the bridge was completed really quickly. As Zabuza was saying his farewell, he placed a hand on Haku's shoulder. He was smiling. Grow strong, Haku, he said. I will, Zabuza-sama. As Haku realized that his master only wanted him to live a happy life. And the only way for him to do that was to not be with him, even much as it pained him. Iniero was crying as Naruto was going to leave as well. As Naruto hugged him and ruffled his hair, promising to visit. Wait, they haven't named the bridge yet. As an idea popped into Tazuna's head before Iniero shouted out his idea. As Naruto was surprised by that, a smirk came on his face. But guys, be ended so right here. If you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs of the other channels. Yes, I indeed have 4 of them which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, check them out, and yeah, enjoy. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now, guys. What am I saying? Let's get the hell out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.